Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Premier League review show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie, and I'm your host for this evening. We're getting closer to the end of the season, as we've just completed Matchweek 33. Big talking points of the week was that Liverpool are now 1 point away from claiming the title after Crystal Palace drew against Arsenal last night. Man City climbed up into the top four once again after 2 wins during this match week. So a lot of games to discuss. So we'll start with the first game, and that is not the game. It is Leicester City versus Liverpool. Now, this should have been a routine win for the Reds, but for some reason they just couldn't find the killer touch in front of goal. They didn't play particularly well, but we created enough chances to break the deadlock. You had Mohamed Salah hitting the inside of both posts from close range. He was then denied moments later by the goalkeeper, who produced a decent save, and Konate has a header that gets cleared away from goal. But finally, the moment arrives, and the man that is splitting the fan base, and that is Trent Alexander-Arnold, he comes off the bench around the 71st minute and receives a few boos from the Liverpool section. But I guess he had the last laugh, as he ends up scoring the match winner with his first left-footed finish to give Liverpool the win. And now Liverpool are a point away from claiming the Premier League title. Some Liverpool fans refused to celebrate the goal because it was Trent Alexander who scored, um, which for me, you know, is a bit bizarre. I know he hasn't officially confirmed if he's staying at the club or not, but we support Liverpool Football Club, not Trent. It's not Trent FC. So for you to not celebrate a goal because you dislike the player, this doesn't make sense to me. But each to their own. It wouldn't be funny if Trent ends up committing his future to Liverpool, because it can't be ruled out. There is a slim chance or a slight possibility that he could stay. You know, football is a funny game, so you never know what the future holds. Until he doesn't make that announcement official, he's a Liverpool player and should get our full support. Jamie Carragher made a comment on Sky Sports about not starting Trent for the remainder of the season, as the title is pretty much wrapped up, and Liverpool should be thinking about the future in terms of playing Conor Bradley for the remainder of the fixtures, especially if Liverpool identify him as the right back that will be playing week in, week out to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold next season. And fun enough, I kind of do agree with Jamie Carragher there, especially if Trent has revealed behind the scenes that he is leaving the club. But if he generally hasn't made a decision and hasn't announced anything to anyone at the club, then he should be treated as normal and should be available for selection in the upcoming games. But let's put the Trent saga to one side. Liverpool are about to make history and win their 20th league title, equally Manchester United's record. All Liverpool needs to do is secure at least a point against Spurs this Sunday, and the title is coming home to Anfield. Next fixture, Arsenal went away to Ipswich Town at Portman Road and managed to secure a decent win there. In terms of the goals that occurred in the game, Trossard opened the scoreline with a close range finish. Martinelli then makes it 2-0 with a tap in. Trossard then scores his second goal with a neat finish in the bottom corner. And Ranieri, who comes off the bench, makes it 4-0 to give Gunners the lead and help the team secure a win that would probably be highlighted as the perfect week after they had just beaten Real Madrid in the Champions League. But they also had the opportunity to deny Liverpool a title win in their second fixture of Matchweek 33 against Crystal Palace, and quite frankly, they almost blew it, to be fair. Now, in terms of the game, uh, Arsenal opened the scoreline with a fantastic header from Kirill and perfectly executed, no chance for the goalkeeper. Then Palace responds with an exquisite volley from Eze to make it 1-1. Trossard then makes it 2-1 as his finish just about creeps into the goal. But then Palace got the equalizer in the second half. And wow, what a finish from Mateta, who chips the ball from about 25 yards over the keeper. Perfectly done, crossbar and in. And that shot or that goal helped Palace secure a point. So good point there for Palace. Arsenal, yeah, will feel a little bit disappointed with the outcome of that fixture. On to the next one, Everton versus Man City. And now we're discussing the top four race right now, which, is getting heated right now. There's been a lot of movers and shakers in the league table. So let's start with City's first game of Matchweek 33. And it wasn't an easy game for the citizens who scored two late goals to claim the win. Nico O'Reilly opened the scoreline in the 84th minute to break the deadlock, and he looks like a special talent. Definitely one to watch next season. Then Kovacic scores in extra time with a sliding effort to make it 2-0 and help City walk away with the win. And their second fixture was against Aston Villa. And this definitely was a tough encounter uh, against Villa, who are also fighting for a top four finish. Bernardo Silva opens the scoreline with a right-footed goal, but then Ramsey is fouled inside the box by Ruben Diaz. Penalty is awarded. I'll be quite honest with you guys. I think that was a bit of a soft one from the referee. Rashford steps up and hits the bottom corner for Villa to make it 1-1. Then, in dramatic fashion, Man City score in the last minute of the game from a Mateus Nunes goal. Great work from Doku on the left wing with the assist. And as you can imagine, the crowd went absolutely crazy, and Pep is jumping with joy on the touchline. And then you've got Unai Emery looking at the sky thinking, what's just happened? But that win could be pivotal to City's season as they've now moved up to third in the league. And Villa's second game um, was actually a great win. It started so well for Villa as they produced a surprising 4-1 victory against Newcastle. Now, in terms of the goals, Watkins opens the scoreline with a deflected finish. Newcastle then equalised with a close ring header from Fabian Schär. Matson then makes it 2-1 in the second half with a nice, clean left-footed finish. Dan Burn unfortunately scores an own goal to make it 3-1. And Onana smashes it into the top corner to make it 4-1 and help Villa secure a huge win against a rival. But Villa remain in seventh place in the league table. Due to the defeat, Newcastle have now dropped to fifth in the table. Now, in other games, after two back-to-back defeats, Forest find themselves back to winning ways after beating Tottenham in a very close encounter. Anderson opens the scoreline for Forest with a smashing shot from outside the box. Chris Wood then doubles the tally with his header to make it 2-0. Spurs tried their best and applied a lot of pressure on Forest, but could only settle for a late consolation goal towards the end from a Richarlison header. And despite the win, Forest have dropped to fourth in the table, but the pressure is on for the remaining five fixtures. Next fixture, Fulham versus Chelsea. Chelsea were victorious in their derby match against Fulham at Craven Cottage. Alex Iwobi opens the scoreline with a left-footed finish. Young star Tariq George equalizes for Chelsea with a fantastic first-time finish. Pedro Neto grabs the headline with his last-minute goal as he smashes the back of the net with a lethal shot. The Chelsea remain in sixth place with 57 points. They're still in the mix with regards to chasing for a top four finish, but it's not going to be as there's a lot of teams fighting for those spots. Next fixture, Manchester United versus Wolves. Manchester United yet again lose another game in the Premier League. No real surprise, as that's their 15th defeat this season. One stat that I found quite funny a few days ago was the fact that Amorim had a worse record than Gary Neville when he was manager at Valencia. That's saying something to the how Amorim is doing currently in his role as United manager. But that winner came from a Sarabia free kick, spectacularly executed, and that uh, set piece helped Wolves grab all 3 points at Old Trafford. Next fixture, Brentford versus Brighton. Brentford produced a huge win against Brighton at the GTEC Community Stadium. And Bremer opens the scoreline with a clinical finish in the bottom corner. Welbeck equalizes with a close range header. And Bremer then scores his second goal with a nicely placed finish to make it 2-1. Wissa makes it 3-1 with a neat finish inside the box. João Pedro saw a bit of a red miss as he receives a red card for lashing out on a Brentford player. But Brighton grabbed their second goal through a Mitoma finish. Norgard then wraps up the game with a header to end the scoreline 4-2 and help the Bees claim all 3 points. Next fixture, Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth, goalless at Selhurst Park, but it involved a bit of drama as Palace were down to 10 men due to Chris Richards getting sent off for 2 yellow cards. But fair play to Palace, who did really well to hold up any attacks presented by a very front foot team in Bournemouth, and they managed to complete the game with a point in the bag. And the final fixture of Matchweek 33 is West Ham versus Southampton. The Hammers were denied by a late finish from Southampton. Jared Bowen opens the scoreline with a great finish from inside the box, but in stoppage time, Ucheku grabs the late equalizer with a thumping finish to take a point at St. Mary's. So that is the Match Week 33 review. So what we'll do now is quickly we'll have a look at the FPL table, see if there's any changes in the top 10 as we approach the closing stages of the season. So let's bring it up for you guys now. So in terms of top place, Vipin Mohan remains in #1 position. Jordan Smith has moved up to second. Jake Harrison has dropped to third. Chris Barnett has moved up to fourth place. Tyler Aziz has moved up to fifth. BT has dropped to sixth. Anas Pala Abubakar has moved up to seventh place. Moya Fabiano Jr. has dropped down to eighth. Vaughan Clark remains in ninth. And Ellie Clark also remains in 10th place. So big up to all the FPL managers this week. In terms of my tally, I don't think I had the best of the week. Let me have a quick look at my score. I think I probably achieved around 52 points. So not the best tally, and I've dropped to 64th in the league. So yeah, for me, it's about next season now. So just trying to wrap up the season in terms of my FPL. Trying to finish in a more respectable position. I don't think it can get any worse than 64, but we'll see how it goes. So moving onwards and upwards, we will now present the fixtures for this weekend in Match Week 34, and I'll also provide my predictions for the upcoming games. So let's start with the first game. So on Saturday, we've got a midday kickoff between Chelsea and Everton. Everton have been a difficult game, difficult opponents in recent games. So it could be a tricky encounter for Chelsea, but I think Chelsea will have enough to seal the victory. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. Brighton versus West Ham. This will be an interesting one. I'm going to go for a draw, and I think the game will finish 1-1. Newcastle versus Ipswich. I think Newcastle will respond after a surprising defeat against Villa. I'm going for a 3-1 victory for the Tsunami. Southampton versus Fulham. I'm expecting Fulham to seal the victory for this one as well. And I'm going for a 2-0 victory for Fulham. Wolves versus Leicester City. I mean, Wolves have been in better form in recent weeks, so I'm going to go for Wolves to win 2-0. And in terms of the Sunday fixtures, Bournemouth versus Manchester United. not because I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm going against United. I don't see them winning this fixture at all. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for the Cherries. And this is the big game of this week, and that is Liverpool versus Tottenham. Liverpool just need to secure the point, but I think they'll do one step ahead and they will seal a win, claiming all 3 points. And I think the scoreline will be 2-0 to the Reds. And the final fixture of Matchweek 34 is next Thursday, which is Forest versus Brentford. I think Forest will just about nick the win here at home, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 scoreline. So that is the predictions of match week 34. Before we close the show, you can see we have a comment here. Big up to Dad, big up Ozzie. When's your preview for Sunday? So my match preview for our fixture against Tottenham will take place tomorrow evening, so it'll be at around 11 p.m. UK time. So make sure to tune in for that. Thank you for your comment on that. And that is it for today, guys. If you haven't really, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming content, I will be doing another show straight after this at 11 p.m. as I'll be doing a Liverpool transfer talk show. A lot of rumors circulating regarding potential new signings for next season. So it's always worth having a little discussion about that. So feel free to tune in about 20 minutes or so. And as I just mentioned, another match preview tomorrow for Liverpool and Tottenham. And we should be doing a watch along of Liverpool versus Tottenham on Sunday. And you'll probably, if Liverpool get a draw or win, then there will be some sort of celebration going on the weekend. We'll do a match reaction show and we'll also have a call in. So you're a local fan, feel free to join the stream, express your delight, and hopefully, a monumental moment as we win and secure the league title this Sunday. So a lot to look forward to. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak with you all very, very soon. Goodbye.